Is it doing it? Is it doing the thing? I think it's doing the thing. Is it doing the thing? Hello? There we go. There we go. Cool. Okay. Well then. Probably get this going too. Bloop. Bloop. There we go. Oh my god, I'm so fucking tired. This was a bad idea, but you know, I need to work on stuff. So yeah. Animation shit. It's very hard. It's very hard. It's very difficult. It's very time consuming. Which means that you have to have a lot of like free time to do it. So I've just been staying at home working on animation for like the past week. And you know, it's a bit tiring. I don't know how something like this could be tiring where you're just like sitting here, you're drawing a bunch of rough pictures, you move them together, it looks like people are saying stuff, you know, I don't know. But it is, it's quite tiring. Because you're sitting in one spot, you're listening to music, there's not much going on, you're kind of sitting alone with your thoughts, I guess. In my case, I'm just thinking about like what the character should be doing or something like that. I don't know. I'm not thinking about much today, just the fact that I'm tired. I stayed up way too late last night because I was drawing, of course. Also watching Netflix, but you know, we're not gonna mention that part because it makes me look bad. Yeah, so I should probably explain what I'm animating in the first place. I'm working on like this kind of big-ish project thing where there are a bunch of characters and it takes place in the 80s, and it's very weirdcore reminiscent, if you know what that is. It's very like, it's very nonsensical, but yeah, so it's basically there's a child who dies and he has to save the world, basically. I don't really know how else to explain it. It's kind of a hard thing to explain, but yeah. He's a child, he dies, has to save the world. Did my thing crash? Oh dear. That's not good. I think I saved it before. Did I save it before? Let me just make sure the input goes. Oh yeah, it's fine, it's fine. That was uncalled for. Excuse me, now I'm missing 2 frames. That sucks. At least it wasn't like a big movement thing. What really sucks is having to go back and redo like these really big poses and like trying to figure out like where the character is actually moving, because there's this thing called I'm not sure if this is the right term, but in art there's something called line of action, where it's like you have a character sitting here, here's Damien, my dude, and in his case the line of action would be something like this. Oop, that's a glitch. So you need to make sure that like the character is moving in that direction. So in this case he turns away from this other character, kind of settles in, and turns to look back at him, so he's kind of like, his line of direction is moving this way, his entire thing is, yeah. But doing this scene right now is not too bad, because it just requires a lot of tracing what I've already drawn, and moving it slightly with this tool, because you can select it and move it wherever you'd like. Sometimes it crashes the entire thing. It's not very funky, but when it does work, it works well, so that's fun, I guess. Another thing with this particular character is that the way I designed him, he's basically like this black blob. So right now I'm just kind of outlining the shapes to get a good look at like what he would look like if you could actually see his outlines. Um, and that might make it a little bit difficult in the future to properly show like where all the parts of his body are, like within the frame. Like if he's like crossing his arms or something, like there'd have to be like some kind of white outline right here to show that like the arms are separate or something. Yeah. In retrospect, his design is a bit strange, but I designed him, I think it was like a year ago? I'm not exactly sure. All the characters that are a part of this series, I'm just gonna quickly save. I want to rewrite this. There we go. All the characters that are a part of this animation are characters that I've had for like a while. Some of them are just like incredibly redesigned to the point where like they don't look like how they did when I first made them, but they're kind of like, oops, their kind of personality still stands. So I think it's cool. I think that really helps when like trying to write, especially like between character interactions, like being able to say like, oh yes, this character would react in this way if this thing happened. So that would help a lot. It's also nice working with like a small group of people because I feel like you have like better communication between them. Like you can tell them that like a character would act this way, or like you get to share a bit of the backstory between everyone. And within like a large corporation or something like Disney, you don't really get that kind of, I guess, personal connection to the characters. Because it's like such a big thing. Like you have the characters, you design them, and then they just go off into the world, and people have to like animate them and draw them like thousands of times over. Especially if we're doing like a really long movie or something, like animating each frame with the same character. I'd assume that gets pretty tiring after a while. Even doing something like this is a trailer, which is like only a couple minutes long, but it's taken me a while to get around to doing it just because I've never done something this big before, so it's very intimidating. Like sometimes I'll go to my computer and I'll think about animating, like I want to do it, but it's just I have to like force myself to do it, if that makes sense. I have to tell myself, okay, I'm going to animate for this amount of time today, and I'm going to get this done. And I think setting goals like that is very helpful. That's why that's not working. Again, we're going to take our mouse tool, just going to kind of warp his face like this. And another thing that's actually, oops, this is 24 frames per second. I don't know why it always does that. It defaults to 24 frames per second. I think it's because this animation, like software, is for like actual studios who know what they're doing and can animate 24 frames per second. But like, if you see something on TV that's animated, it's most likely in 12 frames per second. Just because it saves a lot of time. I think people mostly animate on 2s too, so it means that each frame is held for 2 seconds. Or not 2 seconds, each frame is duplicated so that there are 2 of them. I'm very good at explaining this, but yeah, I don't really do that unless there's like slowish motion going on. Like with this, it's pretty fluid because each frame only lasts for 1 frame. But yeah, it saves a lot of time. There are some people who can sit down and animate something in 24 frames per second, but I am not that person. What I was saying before I got on that frames per second tangent is having a character that's mostly a black blob makes it easier to I guess kind of like being able to figure out where, like, his face and stuff would be, because you don't have to worry about, like, specific facial features. Like, his face isn't entirely realistic, so you don't have to think about, like, the perspective of the nose, or, like, what would happen if, like, he had ears and, you had to, like, adjust where they were depending on the angle of his head, because that also changes. Like, if you have a character like this is a bad, that's a bad drawing, but, you know, whatever. And the ears like this, it would be more visible, on the side than on the other side. So you have to take that into account when drawing or animating. But yeah, you don't have to worry about that, because he's literally just a spiky blob. And yeah, the pinnacle of character design. I feel like every time I draw this frame, his eyes get a bit smaller, but it's fine. It's just rough animation. I'll go over it at some point and clean up the line work, because this looks like garbage, but, you know, we're getting there. We're fine. Another really fun thing to do in animation is being able to show characters' personalities through their body language. Like, this character is very... Damien right here, he's very snarky and, like, sarcastic and, you know, whatever, like, stereotypical, like, oh my god, like, cringy character, or comic relief character. But it, like, if you really, like, if you lean on that and you make it, like, you don't take it too seriously, it's just, it makes it really fun to work on, because, like, he's just completely ridiculous. Like, it's fun. You don't need to worry about, like, having to come up with this, like, oh, I'm, like, this super badass character for no reason, and I can go off and do all this shit and never get in trouble for it. Especially since this character here is like a morally gray character. Like, he kind of has reason to do a bunch of terrible shit. Oh, what happened to your head there, bud? Oh, you poor thing. I'll fix you up when I get around to line work. But, yeah, just being able to be flexible with, like, allowing your characters to do bad stuff and being okay with it. Like, usually when you make up a character, like, you get emotionally attached to them or something, and, like, you don't want all these bad things to happen to them. That's one side of it, and then the other side is, like, you just want to torture them, give them, like, terrible backstories and, like, tragic pasts and, like, you know, like, a no purpose in life or whatever. But, like, having this character who has already, like, lived their life, basically, they're dead. They're a demon. They don't really care about anything in the sense that someone, like, back on Earth would still care about things. It's kind of, I guess, diving into, like, trying to find a sense of purpose in, like, the cosmic sense, where, like, you realize that, like, you're just kind of, like, chilling in a void filled with people who don't do a lot to influence the environment around them. And even if they do, it's just by miraculous chance. Like, there's no way to really say for sure how many impressions you'll make on the world before you pass. And just having that behind you, like, not having to worry about, like, a job, or, like, like, you know, friends or family. Like, if you're just this cold, heartless beast, you don't really worry about the people around you. You can focus on yourself and just vibe. Where's the hand tool? Where did you go? Oh, that's the smudge tool. There it is. Bloop. Now we can see better. I actually like to have the camera view, because then, like with the layers down here, you can change. So these are like your typical, just, transparent inking, levels, and then you have the camera, which means that you can take, oops, no, it would have to be this, right. Whoa, and this is the camera view, so it looks really weird, but you can change, like, where the camera focuses on the canvas, so, not quite sure where the camera went. I'm just gonna quickly delete that, because there's not a lot of movement in this particular scene. That's weird. I still don't know how to use that thing. I don't even know what to call it. But, actually in this scene, it's kind of a good, representation of, like, showing characters who have, like, opposing philosophies. So we have one character who just doesn't give a shit about anything, just, focuses on trying to be happy with what they have, not caring too much about, like, the state of everything else. As long as they're okay, then, like, the rest of the world is okay. It's a very self-centered perspective, but it works for Damien because he doesn't have a lot of responsibilities. Then we have someone like Humphrey, the other character here, does have a face, just away from the camera. Actually has a little eyeball thing, looks like this. Very, very cool, but anyway. You have Humphrey who basically devotes his life to trying to figure out the meaning of life, trying to find his purpose in the world, and trying to make it seem like things that don't have meaning do have meaning, or else, like, you start to fall into this pit of, like, what's even the point of doing all of this shit, or something like that. So, we have these two characters. One of them argues that it doesn't matter anyway, because whether you have a purpose or not, you continue to live, and the other character is like, no, I must find meaning. And I'm gonna find that meaning no matter what it takes, basically. Even if that includes, like, taking the people who are closest to me and trying to get them, like, trying to use them, basically, to find a greater purpose. Oh, I still need to drag the background. Here we go. Oh, I never drew a mouth. I'm so sorry. The actual animation that this is gonna be, like, not just the trailer, but the actual thing, is, it's probably gonna take a while to make, considering that just the trailer itself has taken a while. Like, probably won't be out for, like, a considerable amount of time, but we're making slow steps. It's progressing, even if it's not lightning fast. It's a very small team of people. It's around, I think, like 15 people. And yeah, I have the the scripting for episode 1 finished, basically. We might change a couple things around just for continuity's sake, and having the story evolve a bit just naturally. And having to change a bit of things around to have that kind of thing fit. I must have accidentally grabbed this. There it is. Okay. There we go. That's what I did. Okay. I was looking for this. You want to loop it. So I want to run it through. Okay. Yeah, I think that's okay. Something I'm really trying to work on is having more movement in shots like this where people aren't like walking or like doing a lot with their hands or something, but just adding small movements that are pretty fluid, because before I started to use OpenTunes, that's the software that I'm using right now, I would use Flip-a-Clip. I have an iPad that I mainly use for drawing and stuff, but that's where I first started to learn to animate, and I had a lot of trouble having the patience to not have the characters just like fly around the screen and like having them like, I guess, flow from one position to another, because in animation you start with, or you should start with, I don't necessarily do this all the time, but you start with like one pose in one frame, and then you like try to estimate the amount of time it takes to get from that pose to another, and then you would animate that going from there to, like, you know, obviously this is very rough, but like that. And like these big boy frames, which show like a big change in like a character placement or something, those are called keyframes. So you draw the keyframes first, and then you fill in everything else with in-betweens, which are basically like the little motions that take you from one keyframe to another. And I would always rush the in-betweens. Like here, I'm really trying to take the time to have Damien like completely turn his head to face Humphrey. And what I would end up doing is I would set the frame rate down. So basically frame rate is, FPS is frames per second. Like, you might know that already, but I'm just gonna explain it. So if you set it to something like 1 frames per second, then each of these frames will last 1 second. So, like, if we play it, this is gonna take a very long time to progress. But if we go here, because I'm impatient, then there we go. Each frame lasts for 1 second. And what I would do is I would lower the frame rate, so I would still have the keyframes, and I would have fewer in-betweens, because you don't require as many for a lower FPS. And it would make the animation look choppy, but it was less work. And I think that was a real kicker, was the lack of motivation to put in enough effort to make it look smooth. I should probably draw Humphrey on another layer. I'm gonna forget that he's there. I don't really want to redraw him for each frame though. Maybe I'll just leave it. Because I'm debating whether or not I should make Humphrey a static image, because he's kind of like he's closest to the camera, he's kind of in the foreground. He's speaking. Like, the way that I tried to set up the scene was Damien's reacting to what Humphrey is saying, like his lines in the trailer. And like, because he doesn't agree with what he's saying, he's just kind of like harumphing, I guess. I don't know any other word for it, but he's like, come on, man. But Humphrey doesn't have a mouth either, so even if he were facing the camera, he would most likely look like he was just staring off into space like this, and it wouldn't be very visually interesting, is what I'm trying to say. So framing it in a way where you can see a character moving, like, and like emoting, I guess, makes it easier to look at. So I don't think movement would be particularly necessary, I guess, for Humphrey, but he's also, like in this particular line, he's very passionate about what he's saying, too, so I want to make that clear, like maybe some movements of the head or something. Like, maybe he, like, cocks it to the side or something to, like, I don't know. I'm not sure. I also make sure to save often because this program crashes a lot, and it makes it very hard to work on stuff when you have to keep redoing scenes that you've already done. I don't know why this is titled. I have weird names for my files if they're not particularly important. Again, this defaults to 24 frames per second. So I have to change it every single time. It's very annoying. Oh dear. There we go. There we go. It starts off a bit choppy for some reason. I'm not sure why. But this is the scene leading up to the one that I just worked on. Where, like, you have these characters, like, physically, like, pushing each other away, like, no, get away from me, I don't agree with you, like, yeah. And, this is a very bold move for this character. This is Humphrey here. I know it's not very obvious because, there we go, there are the hair floofs, but, it's, yeah, this is a character who tries to avoid conflict as much as possible, who's stepping up and, like, being like, hey, bro, step back, like, you know. So, you know, I think that's, yeah. I tried to kind of put the, like, how tall the characters are into, like, a bit of a weird perspective to make Humphrey look, I guess, like, smaller or something. Like, what happens is, like, Damien puts his arm around Humphrey's neck, and obviously he doesn't like it, so he's, like, pushing him away, you know. And he starts over kind of, like, hunched close to the camera. He backs up, and he's standing kind of in this, like, puffed out position, like, if you have, like, the chest. Like, he's very, like, this is, like, one of the few times he's assertive for, like, stuff like that. I'm also trying to think of how to connect this scene, I Would Myself, to, yeah, it's Limbo. Because, not sure what I did. Oh dear, don't tell me I did that. Oh dear. Hold on, let me close out of there. Let me make sure I didn't overwrite the scene with another scene that I just did. If I did that, I'm gonna be so fucking pissed, but you know. It's okay. I Would Myself. I think I did. Well, that's not very cool. That means I have to redo the entire scene again. Oh, man. Yeah, because this is, you could call it that. Because, yeah. I pressed save as instead of load scene. Save scene as instead of, oh, okay. Oh dear. Well. The reason I'm not really overacting is I'm just numb to this at this point. This happens too often for it to... Wait, you could call it, yeah. This happens too often for it to be particularly devastating, I guess. So that's, you could call it that. I would myself. Yeah. I had some pretty fluid animation too. Well. Gotta delete all these scenes manually. Wait, actually no. Actually no, there's a thing where you can select all of them if you click. There we go. Yeah. Can I delete? There we go. Oh, no, that didn't work. Oh dear. Is there any way to select all? Yeah, so setbacks like this make it hard to progress, but so we had Damien like this. It was a kind of like diagonal thing where Humphrey was like this. Yeah, I might draw Humphrey on this layer. Like this. Just kind of looking at Damien. Damien is over here on a separate layer, of course. Like this. Gotta get the circle just right. I think I might have him start off with like a smaller smile, and then it just kind of like continues to like stretch, I guess. I don't know. Something like this, where there we go. We have Damien. Damien is back. No need for fear. So he starts off, he's facing this way. Oops. He's in a very, like, static position. And then, you know, like this. Oh, I need to activate onion skin. That would be helpful. There we go. I think I want to add him, like, laughing before kind of, like, crossing his arms in disdain. So it kind of shows why he's reacting this way. Like he thinks Humphrey's being absolutely ridiculous. So it's like... chest out a bit. I'm still kind of learning to use this interface, so yeah. As you can probably tell, I'm not very good at it yet, but oh my god, I love his smile so much, it's so fucking derpy. And like, it just, I don't know, something about his character, I just like, he's totally like a dude bro. That's what it is. Like those stereotypical, like, Yeah, I've already said it before, but like that, yeah, man, woo. No responsibility, gang. I don't know why I'm drawing his face for the rest of his head, but... Maybe I'll have him kind of swing around instead of just like rotating his body. Oh, I want to save before I do that. Save scene as I would myself. I want to save as this, yes. We're not doing that again. So he starts off with his head kind of like here, and it goes like, not as drastic as that, but something more like that, and then he ends up over here and then swings his head back. So it's like kind of a circular motion. Something I learned, I think this was from Alan Becker, because he has a very, very good animation tutorial thing. It's in multiple parts, but he has an entire compilation. And it basically explains the 12 principles of animation and how to do them right. And this is something not only I've heard from him, but from other people I've just seen, is that like biological things, like characters, animals, things like that, they tend to move in more circular motions instead of squares. Like if you think of like the first thing that comes to mind, this is a bit stupid, but like a train, like if you have like the pistons, they're kind of moving in like this jagged, like constant motion of like just like chugging along, and you don't see a lot of like consistency in movement in living things like humans, or you know, whatever those things might be. It's very, I guess, erratic. It's not quite all over the place, but it's not uniform, is basically what I'm trying to say. I might have him bending down a bit, because he is taller than Humphrey, so he would be kind of like, you know, like looking down on him a bit, which is kind of mean, but you know. Kind of put it over like this. I think I need to remind myself again that I need more in-betweens there, because that's gonna look a bit rushed. Let's see. Yeah, that's fine. It's fine for the time being. I still need to move the head, so it's like it aligns with the rest of the body, because his head is just kind of floating there. But I like to draw everything first and then move it, if I'm just using like this mouse tool. Like the selection and then just moving it a bit. I'm just gonna stop using the circular guide here, because I already kind of have the shape down, so I don't really need it. yeah, whenever this kind of thing happens, where I'm working on something for a really long time, and it gets deleted like that, like obviously I'm upset about it, because, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, is it gonna crash? I'm gonna save quickly before it does, if it does. There we go. Everything is good. But when I'm working on something like that for a very long time, I worked on it yesterday a whole bunch, and thought it was pretty good, but you know, I don't think there's any way to get it back, so there's no point in being like, oh, this is terrible, and like can't work on this anymore. And I saw some things I could have added, so I'm just gonna add it this time, and it's gonna be fine. I don't know if it's just because I'm tired and that's why, like, I don't care as much. I said that before, but still, yeah. Because, like, a couple days ago, funny story, not really funny for me, but it must have been hilariously entertaining for whoever was watching. I did a 2.5 hour stream with my mic completely muted because I tend to have a lot of audio issues, voice crack, whenever I try to stream. For whatever reason, because I think something got messed up with my computer where, like, for whatever reason, it doesn't like my microphone very much and refuses to have it detect my voice sometime. But somebody told me in the chat, they're very nice about it. But I didn't see that because I was playing a game. And I didn't realize until, like, 2.5 hours later that they couldn't hear me, and yeah, it was fun. I also seem to have more trouble streaming on Twitch than I do on YouTube. Not exactly sure why, but that's mainly why I switched. Like, it wasn't yesterday, it was the day before that I did my other live stream with Left 4 Dead. And that was my first YouTube live stream, and I have to say, people have said that streaming on YouTube is easier than Twitch. And you know, I'm starting to believe that might be the case, because I did have a lot easier of a time, and some people actually did stop by and drop things in the chat, which is really nice to see. But yeah.
Today, it's one of those days. Seem like the green light burned out, and where to begin just doesn't fall in. Forget what your move was about. Cause your teardrops, so 114 of them sing.
But yeah, you don't have to worry about that. Sorry, I was doing something, just checking that my mic was working, because, you know, once I started talking about it, I got a bit scared that it wasn't. I think this is Jack Stopper. Very nice. Also, I'm 100% sure that this music is copyrighted, so it probably get a, like, claim or whatever. But it's okay. I don't make any money off of YouTube videos, so it's not really that much of a problem anyway. What's really annoying is when it gets partially blocked in some countries, because I don't know why, but that's just a thing that YouTube has decided to do because it doesn't like me. But yeah, that would be me getting a phone call. Very nice. I've had that for a while. I started watching The Office and I was like, oh damn, this show kind of slaps. So there we go. I paid money for that. Let's see. I need more music. Oh wow, it's already been 45 minutes. Well, time flies when you're doing whatever this is. I would myself. There we go. I would myself. There we go. Okay. I don't want to save over it again. That would just be absolutely terrible. Here we go. There we go. No, I need to add his neck. I forgot his neck existed. Oh dear, the lag. The lag is back. Oh dear. The lag. There we go. Oh, his eyes change shape. Huh. Maybe I should add him blinking, so that's not so much of an abrupt change. Right here. I think when he blinks, his eyes just disappear. Or maybe I could add, so it's like this. I think what I'll do instead is I'll make his eyes, they'll just be white lines instead of black. Trying to figure out like the way he's gonna move without actually moving him. It's a bit difficult because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to almost like have his head lead from him like leaning forward, kind of bending over to Dr. Humphrey, to like his head swiveling around, and then like his arms kind of go up and then settle into the cross arm thing that I had before. Oh, it did crash. Oh. Good thing I saved right before that. That was very close. So this program is very Oh. Okay. Crashed again. Could you please not? Oh, it crashed again. Wow. That's a bit concerning. Again. Wow. Okay. Let me try to figure this out. Are you gonna work now? Can you please? I think it's good. Oh dear. Oh dear. Don't tell me it deleted everything again. Okay, that scene is fine. Let's see. I must have saved it at the exact moment it crashed. Interesting. Interesting. I have that. And this is red, which means, can I draw over it? I can. Third time's the charm. Third time's the charm. Yeah, at this point I'm feeling a bit frustrated, but... No, I might just do more loose sketches for this one. Just kind of like... Oh, that needs to be bigger though. I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna go for the selection tool. Don't crash. Don't crash. There you go. Good job. It's hard to convey a character raising their eyebrows when they don't actually have any eyebrows. I would argue that animation could be relaxing if there are two things that aren't happening. One, if you're not milk call, and two, if you have software that doesn't delete everything every 2 seconds or corrupt your saves. Oh dear, what now? What now? What now? What have we done now? Ah, nothing, I guess. You've set it 24 frames per second. That's what you've done. That doesn't look right. I supposed to be a bit closer. Screen is very lopsided. It's the small things like this. I'm gonna save now. Don't really have a lot to say. I've kind of run out of things to say. That's why I've kind of been quiet. Oh, this is Celia's theme song. Wait, Celia's not in any of the scenes, but she's like, she's a triangle head lady. She looks like this. She has a detached head too. She looks like this. I could draw her better, but you know. But yeah, in one of the audition lines that the voice actor for Celia did was a parody of Pure Imagination. It was very nice. Okay, we have that. Should probably bring the head down like there. Save first. What? Save scene as I would myself, yes. I title the scenes as the dialogue. Or like bits of the dialogue, because if I did the entire thing it'd be way too long, but you know. I like this one. Oh, what if this is the point where Damien's arm kind of comes out. Yeah, that works pretty well. That is. Oh, but it needs to be kind of like back because he would also be turning a bit. Like this. Maybe like this. And his arm could, or his hand, not his arm, could come up like this, maybe? And then his other arm could do something like that. I'm not sure. This doesn't look like it's gonna work. Yeah, no. Particularly that. That does work. Save again. Save again. We must save. Oh, what if we That makes a bit more sense. It's a little bit small. Oh my god. Wait, is this... Oh, okay. I thought it was an advertisement for a second. But no, that's part of the song. I'm not very good at drawing people with their arms crossed. So I'm trying to figuring out how to animate it is a bit hard. I feel like this hype would go down about here. Starts going down like this, just a little bit. And going down here. Maybe a little bit more. There. And then this would have to be more exaggerated. Whoop. At this point, this is where his head starts to turn. Say it again. I'm gonna be ending this stream in about 12 minutes because it's getting late. There we go. His beady little eyes. Do this and that doesn't look good. His mouth is just slowly getting closer to the rest of it. Okay. Got this. And what I can do is I can draw the head, and then I can move it, so I have to move the face and the head separately. I'd like to do more streams on the channel if people are okay with it, because it's not as time consuming as like an actual video, and I don't have to like hype up my personality, I guess, or like be too over the top or like boom explosions and editing and stuff like that. Like I can just kind of sit down and play something or work on something, and I don't have to hear myself say how to skin a baby 100 times trying to get the timing right on a stupid Minecraft video. So making like actual videos is it's a very long process because like the software I use is very hard to use. Like it was this free thing I think I saw it on some website because I was looking at free alternatives to like a paid thing, you know. And I saw the program and I was like, hey, this looks good. But it has this thing where if you edit too much in one spot of the video, it lags out in that spot because it's trying to like process everything. So you have to like flip-flop between like the beginning and the end and the middle and stuff to not crash the program, and it's hard. Oh, is this coffee? It is! I like this song. It's about coffee addiction. I was talking about this earlier with someone, but I don't really like coffee. Like, I really like the smell of coffee. The idea of coffee is fine, but every time I've tried to like actually drink it, it doesn't do it for me. I don't know. I don't know if I'm weird for not liking it, but especially with caffeine, it doesn't make me feel energized. It makes me feel like jittery almost, or like high anxiety. Oh my god, his face is kind of cute here. I don't know. He looks so innocent compared to who he actually is. His whole thing is basically trying to think of how to phrase it. It's like no, it's very sad. Hello. There we go. Don't crash again. No, I'm gonna save so it doesn't crash again. I don't remember if I was talking about anything. Because I lost my train of thought, so if I was talking about something, never mind. I don't know. I don't know what it was. The position of the eyeball, it gets farther away from the other one. Oh god. This is why it's a good thing to have onion skin on, so you can see what you've done in the past and try to fix it. Looks a bit better. I don't like it as much as the second one I did before it got deleted, but you know, what can you do? Can't do anything. That's the stupid part about technology, is you can't go back and try to find it. It's just lost forever. Okay, so it's going down. Might have it extend out a bit, so it's like, oh dear. I need to fix that. I can't, yeah, I can't do that. That is not a thing. Like, it looks fine, like in the actual drawing, until you actually try to do stuff with it. Trying to think about this hand over here, arm like this, arm like this, and like this, so it's like that kind of. Just make it extra scribbly to hide everything. Oops. There we go. That looks a bit like... Oh, the movement though. Okay. That's a large jump. Okay. Whatever music is playing in the background is not helping with my tiredness. It's just making me more tired. I think maybe this could be like the frame where like his arms are settled. Yeah, I'm gonna add a frame there. So what I do is you extend this one so this is a bit longer, then you delete it. And that's not what I was trying to do. Don't do that. There we go. Only select that one. There we go. And now it basically acts as another frame. I'm sure there's an easier way to do it. Oh god, I'm really tired. But, you know, we like to do things the hard way here.
Close your eyes,
This is the Omari song. I still need to play that game. I've heard it's like really, really, really good. Need a bit of shoulder in there so I can tell what's actually going on. Oh dear, it's a minute past when I said I was gonna stop streaming. Quickly save it again because desperately want to keep this suit. Even if it's not as good as what it originally was, it's something. Something I can work on, and I can make it okay-ish if I need to. But this must be the last song of the day. Yeah, but yeah. Oop. I can't click on anything with my tiny little pen thing. But yeah, that was it. Thank you for watching. Like I said, that the thing I'm animating, it just crashed. I hope it saved before it crashed. It's part of like an animated series trailer thing that I'm doing. And yeah, I guess just stay tuned for that. It probably will be out in like a couple months or something, I'm not sure. But yeah. Farewell.